Welcome back to Statesman.com and another edition of the High School Blitz. Rick, it is time to preview the fourth week of the football season. We're going to start over at Bastrop Memorial Stadium on Thursday night, 7:30 kick for Travis and Cedar Creek. Both teams don't have a win, but whoever gets that first victory is going to be 1-0 in district play. What do you think is going to happen in this game?
I think Cedar Creek is going to get their first win. They're playing at home. Neither team is very good on paper. They're both 0-3. But I think Cedar Creek at least has a better offense. They had 400 yards of offense against Brian Rudder last week. Travis, they just seem to be floundering right now. I'm taking Cedar Creek in a mild upset. I don't know. I'm
waiting for the Rebels to get rolling. I think it's going to be this week. Breon Watson, their quarterback, obviously he's their leading passer. He's also their leading rusher. Receiving-wise, they have 4 receivers who are averaging at least 11 yards per catch, led by Mike Jones, who's about a little bit over 19 yards per reception. So I think this is the week their offense puts up enough points, and I think the Rebels are going to be 1-0 in 26-5A. Second game, we're going to go to Friday. Round Rock Stony Point, it's going to be our game of the week. Both teams are going to be contending for a district championship in 13-6A. Who do you think wins this showdown?
Well, this is a tough one, but I'm going to go with Round Rock. I think they've played tougher competition. I know they played Coppers Cove last week. They played Temple in the very first game. Round Rock scores 39 points a game, so they're really tough on that side of the ball. On the flip side, Stony Point only gives up 9 points a game, so it's going to be whoever imposes their will on the other.
I'm going to go with Stony Point in this one. Like you said, their defense has been very good. Last week was actually the first week that their defense allowed a score. The only other touchdown scored against them was led by their special teams unit. So I like the way Stony Point's playing on defense. Shapiro King is a name to look for on the Stony Point offense. He's their leading rusher, also their second leading receiver. I think Stony Point wins a close one. Last year was 17-13 in favor of Round Rock. I'd say we go 17-13 in favor of Stony Point this year. Dripping Springs Cedar Park. Last year was kind of the eye-opening moment. Dripping Springs beat Cedar Park. Cedar Park was ranked second at the time, but they lost 23-0. You saw Dripping Springs this past week. I saw Cedar Park. What do you think is going to happen? Can the Tigers do it again?
No, they're not going to do it again. Cedar Park's playing at home, and they've got all that momentum. They're number 1 in the state for a reason. They've got depth for one. They had 5 guys last week who rushed for more than 50 yards, so they just hand the ball off to whoever. I saw Dripping Springs this past week, like you said, very good football team. It's going to be closer than most people think, but I got Cedar Park. You got to go with them.
I believe this is actually Cedar Park's homecoming, which is not a coincidence. I'm sure that was a very intentional scheduling idea by their team. I'm going to go with Cedar Park. Jack Graham's one of those guys on offense who's a two-way threat, can catch the ball, can run the ball. Their best running back's probably Jeff Guidry, who's actually a stellar defensive back for them. Just a lot of talent on that Cedar Park team. I just think that's a little bit too much for Dripping Springs. Ethan Fernia, all Central Texas defensive back, has been turned into a very nice receiver at Dripping Springs. So that secondary, led by Guidry's going to be busy with him, but I think Cedar Park will get its revenge. Final game, speaking of ranked teams in the state, we got LaGrange. They're ranked 5th in the Class 4A poll. They got Taylor coming into town. What happens here?
Well, Taylor's got a great offense, as you know, but LaGrange has a great team, as you know. Going 13-0 in the last couple of years before finally losing a game. I just think they've got too much offense. You know all about J.K. Dobbins.
I do.
Dobbins is only a junior, but he looks like he could be heading to the Longhorns. I know they've got a lot of interest in him. A&M is looking at him, and Stanford reportedly has actually offered him a scholarship. So young Mr. Dobbins, he's got something to look forward to. But as far as the game itself, they're in the top 10 for a reason, and they should win this one easily.
I think this is going to be an interesting test for LaGrange. The first three opponents they faced were all run-heavy teams. No one passed for more than 10 pass attempts against them. That's going to change against Taylor. Terrell Reynolds has had a very good season so far, 11 touchdown passes, has some nice weapons in Malik Jackson and Xavier Washington, but I think that LaGrange is going to win this one, probably be resting its starters in the 4th quarter, but don't overlook the Ducks. They're pretty decent.
They've improved a lot.
All right, those are our predictions for the week. Check back on Statesman.com throughout the weekend to see how we did, and we'll see you next week.